going forward, we are going to now make a step further, okay, in describing how we can do more with our Access database. In the last video, I mentioned that we're going to explain how we could use the other features, or should I say, how we could basically use the other data types. I mentioned that we're going to demonstrate how we could use the OLE objects, the memo object, and then the attachment fields, and then probably we'll look at those that we did not apply in the last video, and then play around with them here. I'm going to open the last database I was working with, which was database 3, and you would notice that there's something that happens here. Maybe in your private practice you've noticed this a couple of times and you're wondering what it is. Well, I'm going to explain what's happening here right now. Looking at the top here where you have the security warning, it says some active content has been disabled. Click for more details. Before I click to accept or disregard something, let me just explain what's happening here. Now, based on the little understanding we've gathered, we've mentioned, or we can easily say that your database can contain a whole lot of information. You could contain files, you could contain different kind of informations from different programs, and those are potential minefields for viruses. And so because of this, Microsoft Access tends to look at some specific file types as viruses. Now that is something you'd find when you download a file from the internet. And so because of this trend, Microsoft Access is kind of should I say cautious? Yeah, that's the word. It's kind of cautious when it comes to working with opening files. And so usually when you're opening a file that has already been closed, you'd always come up with this message that tells you this message is kind of risky and stuff, and you would have to give it permission to enable or to open that particular database. Okay, so if you're using Microsoft Office 2007, you should be seeing options here and not enable. And so when you click on options, you're looking out for two buttons. The second button there, which is a radio button, would allow you to click on enable content and then click on OK. Okay, in 2010 I just click on enable content and that message goes off. Okay, and when you've done that, you should see at your left your navigation pane. Most likely it might be hidden this way, like so, and if that is the case, you would just want to click on this pop-up arrow or shutter bar to open it back, and it comes up, and then you will see your database object. Presently I only have one object, table 1, as we've already explained earlier, so I'll just need to double click on this particular table like so. Pam pam. Okay, and that opens the database table we're working on before. I just felt I should just mention that, just in case you encounter this as an issue and you're like, what is happening? Okay, I'm sure that should take care of you. So keep in mind that you always want to enable the content, and then you would want to open the navigation pane or navigation bar and double click on the database object you would want to work with. For the record, in case you have a database open and you want to do something else, you can easily close the open table from this section. That doesn't close your database, it simply closes the object you're working with. So if we had other objects here like queries, reports, or forms, which we're going to be looking forward in other videos in this segment, you're going to see how you could easily close them, but there might be needs to close them, open them, as the case may be, without having to go over to the close button to close the entire database. Are you following? Fine. So back to what we're supposed to be doing right now. Now we said that we're going to look at some extra database data types. Okay, so I'm going to go back to my design view and then assign those data fields we wanted to assign, and then look at the data types we're going to work with. Let's go back there to my slide and see the particular ones we want to insert. Okay, we want to insert a file, and then we want to insert I think a picture. Do we have a picture there? Okay, we have a picture. We do not have a date of birth. So those are the two items we're going to enter. We're going to enter a date of birth, and then we're going to enter a file. So fine. So let's start off with that. We're saying in this particular field we're entering date of birth. Yes, that's the item, and the data type I am choosing here is going to be date and time. Now, the reason why I'm using the date and time is because I'm going to be getting a calendar where I can select a date, a month, and a year. Okay, that should work very well. Don't worry, I'm going to show us how it works when we go back to the datasheet view. And then with the file field, let's say we wanted to enter a file, or let's use a document. Is that okay? No. Okay, let's just use this term, external file. Yeah, I think that is more general. All right, now in the general file, we're saying that we are using the OLE object data type. Now this way I can be able to add files from any program, more or less. Yeah, from any program, more or less, I can add those ones. You might not understand what's happening here, but just not to worry. Make this change right now. If you're following me along on your own computer, make this change right now and save the changes you've just effected, and then click on the datasheet view, and let's see how we can then apply just those changes we just made. Okay, now starting with the date of birth, you would notice something new. When we click on this particular field under notes, you notice that there's no stranger here. However, when you click on the date and date of birth column, you notice something, a small box there which looks much like a calendar. Yes, yeah, a calendar. Now on clicking on that calendar, I see a calendar that pops up. So over here I can select a particular date. So notice that once I click on a date, say on the 5th, I have the actual date spelled out, February 5th 2013. Right, so let's say somebody was born in probably 2009. What would I need to do? I'll need to just keep backing up the date from up there. Okay, I'm just clicking backwards until probably I get a specific date in 2009 or probably 2008 or just whichever day, and then select the date of that year. Okay, that would correspond with the month, and voila, you have your date of birth specified. Do we get the idea? So that's essentially how your calendar tool works there. Okay, the date of birth works perfect in that instance. Now, as it concerns your external file, this is how it works. You do not need to enter any information there. You do a couple of things. First off, you would right click. Okay, I just did that. I just right clicked. Okay, now when you right click on that column, you see several options, amongst which you're looking out for insert object. Did we get that? Insert object. Now with the pop-up menu coming up, we have two options: to create a new object or to create an object from a file, or to create from file. Now the new object works this way. If I go ahead to select a particular program, okay, from the list that is here, there are plenty of programs, by the way, on my computer right now. So if I were to select any object from the list and click on OK, that program is going to be opened as a new file. Okay, it's going to open as a new file. Okay, let me just show you what I mean. Let's say this was supposed to be a Microsoft Word file I wanted to attach to this database column. I'll just need to look out for Microsoft Word, okay, from the list. And okay, there I have one. Now it says that I'm going to insert a new Microsoft Word document object into my document. Okay, so let's see that how it works. So I'm going to click on OK. Microsoft Word opens up with no content inside. So right now what I would need to do now would be to enter the information I need. So I would say for instance, this is Glix Virtual Academy. Okay, I've entered the information I need to enter there, and what I'll need to do now is to click on save, okay, and close. Yes, and I have my Microsoft Word file created in there automatically. So what did I have to do? I had to right click on the column I needed. Okay, let's say we wanted to add a column here. Let's enter a record here. Name of student, let's say the name of student is Mercy. Okay, and of course you'd enter whatever information you want to enter here. That's okay, and then we'll come in over here to select a specific date of birth, whichever the date is, and then on the column for the external file you're right clicking. Okay, so upon right clicking you're clicking on insert object, and then you're going to click on create new. Okay, and then select a program that you want to create your new file from. So in practice we could then begin to think, maybe this is probably name of student, and maybe you're looking at the student assignments, right? Probably the student decided to submit the assignments in Microsoft Word. You just look for the Microsoft Word document and keep them. That way you've stored the records of that student. How about that for organizing information? That is sweet. Believe me, it is so sweet. So you could do that. Now, if it happens that the file you intend attaching to your database has already been created prior to your creating the database, you would want to then create the object, the OLE object from file, in which case when you click upon it, you have one thing to do. That is to go and look for where the file is on your computer. That means if the file is not in your computer, you cannot attach it. It has to be on your computer. It has to be connected to your computer in one way or the other, either directly on it, on a flash drive, on the network. Okay, if it's not there, if it's not accessible to the computer, you cannot attach such a file. Are you following? Nice. So as it is now, to add that particular file, what I'll do now is to click on browse. Okay, where I can now search through my computer to look for where such a file is. So let's say the file I needed to add now was okay, let's see. I'm just trying to pick one at random. Apparently I'm not picking at random right now. Alright, so let's pick this. Okay, and okay, beautiful, and then I can click on OK there, and my document should be added to me. Yes, it has already been added, and that is the document down there. So to see whether you have actually added these documents, you just need to double click on them. That opens it. That is that simple. And double clicking is that simple. It opens the document for you, and essentially it's already there in your database. Isn't that sweet? Alright, I'm loving the way this whole thing works out. I hope you're enjoying it yourself. I'm sure you should be. Alright, so typically that's how those data types work. So coming back to what we said about your data types, it basically describes the content of a particular field. You're using the wrong data type, the field is going to be so messed up. You're using the right data type, well, you're going to have a very, very swell time working with your database. Okay, so you would want to keep your hands busy with a whole lot of practice around here in playing around the data types, and I'm sure you're going to have fun with it. Okay, coming up in the next video, I'm going to explain what this guy does, the ID, what he's about. Why do we have numbers here? Why do we have one number followed by a 3? What's really happening here? In the next video, I'm going to explain that concept. I'm sure it's going to make a whole lot of sense to you when I explain that. And so I will want to thank you for listening to this video, and I will see you in a bit.